Hi Year 9s. Hopefully you've had a good holiday and we're back into doing some learning now. Obviously we can't be in class to make our cookies, so hopefully you get a chance to make them at home if you can. I'm just going to show you how to do them, and the recipe is in our Google Classroom. So we're starting off with our 120 grams of butter, and we want that soft but not melted. So I put mine in the microwave for 20 seconds. Okay, you don't need it any longer than that. So you can see it's nice and soft, but it's not melted. And remember, you can't put metal into the microwave, so it's got to be in a plastic or a glass bowl or something like that. So I'm putting my butter into a large bowl, and in there is also 1/4 of a cup of sugar. And you're going to beat that with an electric beater if you have one. If you don't have one, you'll just need to use a wooden spoon and beat it for a good 10 minutes or so to build up your muscles. But I have an electric beater, so I'm just going to do that really quickly. So it's nice and light. It changes colour from dark yellow to a really pale yellow, almost white. That's because you've added lots of air into it. Okay, into that I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of condensed milk. A tablespoon, so on the recipe it's got a capital T. So capital T is tablespoon, which is the big spoon. Okay, and a small T is the teaspoon, which is the smaller one. So small T, small spoon, and big T for the big spoon. So I'm putting in two of those of condensed milk into here. Scrape it out. And then I'm just going to beat that up again for a wee minute or so with the electric beater again. So this is what it's going to look like after you've added your condensed milk. Once you're now adding your dry ingredients, you don't want to use your electric beater anymore. You just want to use a wooden spoon or a spatula, because it will turn it into like breadcrumbs. So into there, I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon. So remember, small T, small spoon of baking powder. And 1 heaped cup. Okay, so normally when we're baking for our flour, we would measure it like this, and we would use a knife to straighten it off like this, so we get exactly 1 cup. This recipe says 1 heaped cup, so that means it goes over the top, so it's a wee bit more than a cup, so it's a heap on top of the cup. So 1 heaped cup into there. And it says 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, and I started making them and realised I didn't have any chocolate chips, so I only have this much chocolate. Okay, so I'm just going to put in that little bit of chocolate I had, and I'm actually going to use sultanas for mine. So I'm going to make sultana cookies with a little bit of chocolate. Okay, but your 3/4 cup of chocolate chips would go in there as well. And all you're going to do with that is mix it really well. Okay, remember, not with your electric beater. And at this stage, okay, people always come to me and say it's too dry. and they want to add a little bit more butter or a bit more condensed milk, okay, I promise you, you don't need to. You just got to keep mixing. And what I like to do, that's why I use a rubber scraper, I can really smush it. Okay, but when I get to this stage, and this is where you'd be like, oh, it's too dry, I actually make sure I've washed my hands, which I have, and get in there with your hands, okay, and smush it all together like this. Okay? And if you say smush, 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 smush while you're doing it, they work even better. Okay, so you can see that's all coming together really nicely. Okay, when you put it together, you've got a nice ball of it. All right, please make sure you've washed your hands really well before you do that, because otherwise gross. Okay. Okay, and so the last stage I've got over here, so I've got my oven tray with some baking paper on it so it doesn't stick. Alright, and I just want to roll them into this sort of spoonful size, roll them up onto your tray, this, and give them a wee flatten down. I just use my fingers, but the recipe usually says to use a fork, so you can squish them down with a little fork if you want to. So I'll grab a fork out, okay, so you can see. Okay, so you just get them there and give them a wee flatten down with a fork. Okay, that's one I just did with my fingers. Alright, so I'm going to finish rolling them out. I'll get about 12, 15, depending on what size you make them. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees on fan bake, and they're going to go in there for about 12 minutes. Okay, the recipe says 15. I think that's too long. I think 12 is about long enough. Okay, so I'll put them in, and once they're finished, I'll take a photo to show you. Good luck. Make sure you take photos of them so I can see how they look, and enjoy.